Well, couples, today we're going to talk about someone has to be the hero. When the going gets tough in your marriage, someone has to be the hero. So let me first define what I mean by a hero. Someone who is willing to do something extraordinary to save someone or something. Now, we hear about heroes all the time on the news. The firefighter who runs into the burning home to save people inside, or the police who storm a building with an active shooter. And we all recognize that these are heroic acts because it requires a fearless attitude that says, even if it means harm to me, it might save others. Now, before I bridge the gap to how that applies to marriage, I want to also go to the Bible to say that the best example of a hero in history is Jesus, because he took harm upon himself so that we might have life. So let's go to Romans chapter 5, starting in verse 6. We were utterly helpless. Christ came at just the right time and died for us. Now, most people would not be willing to die for an upright person, though someone might perhaps be willing to die for a person who is especially good. But God showed his love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. See, there's the key there. We'll come back to that in a minute. Now, you might be thinking about that in your marriage and thinking, okay, so what are you saying? That I need to die for my spouse? Do I need to throw myself in front of a train? No, I'm not proposing that to be a hero in your marriage means you have to put your life on the line. But just like Jesus did the extraordinary thing of dying for us while we were still sinners, while we were unworthy of that kind of act, Jesus did it anyways, as we see in verse 8. So what I'm saying is you can be a hero in your marriage by having an attitude that says, I'm going to fight for our marriage, even if it means I have to take a few hits to my ego. You know, you can be a hero even if your spouse isn't worthy of it. Now, what do I mean by being a hero in your marriage? Well, let's talk about that for a few minutes. The first thing I want to say is it is risky. It takes humility. It takes humility to say, even though I'm hurt or my expectations haven't been met, I'm going to make a choice to do something here to change the course or to change the pattern of what's been going on in our marriage. The second thing is to be a hero in your marriage is to take action. You're going to have to demonstrate a teachable heart, to go to your spouse and say, despite my own thoughts and feelings, I need to hear from you where I'm failing you and what I need to do to make our marriage stronger and better. You're also going to have to choose grace. You're going to have to choose to be forgiving. You know, your spouse is not necessarily worthy of it, just like we weren't worthy of it when Jesus chose to die for us. But that's where the extraordinary thing comes in, that you could be the agent for change in turning a marriage that's headed for divorce, could save it from that, and because of your ability to choose grace. And the last thing is that you'd be willing to die to your own expectations, that you recognize in being a hero means that you may not get everything that you want from it, but that you're willing to lay down your own thoughts and your own feelings on the matter to meet the needs of your spouse. That's truly heroic. Now, I hope that you can take this challenge as a couple to work on saving your marriage, to be willing to do the extraordinary, to make your marriage strong, and hopefully these questions will help you in that endeavor.